Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and I had quite a few people who asked me to do a demo on using the BoBunny glitter paste. And while I've got this in hand, I want to mention something to all of you people who ordered a kit. I just opened mine and it is dry. They're not supposed to be dry like that. They're supposed to be really fluid. So if you got a kit and yours is dry, you can add water to it and it will soften up because these are water-based. But if you don't want to fool with that, then we will replace them. We'll put a replacement in your next kit. Just let me know. Don't let me know in the links below, please. Send me an email. My email is below, and just send me an email and let me know. But some of them that I had opened, which I don't go through and open everything, but I had opened a couple and they were fine. But this one that I just opened is dried up. So not exactly supposed to be that way. But just let me know by sending me an email if it is, and we'll get it replaced for you. Okay, now this is the stencil that came in the February kit. It is a Viva Decor stencil, and it's a big one. I love it. So we're going to use it. We're going to just make a card with this. And I'm just going to put it over on the side of my card because I'm going to be putting something else right there. And I'm going to use my, let's see, this one is called Pink Punch. I'm going to use this. And you just put your stencil down, dip a little bit out with your little spatula, and then just spread it around. Now, depending on how thick you want it, that determines the whole thing. On this one, I want it a little bit thick because it's a flower, so I'm just going to do it a little bit thicker. Just kind of smooth it over. Don't worry about any excess being left on your stencil because you can scrape that off, put it back in your jar, and reuse it. Alright, so that's my little flower right there. And then I'm going to use Wasabi, and this is a green. It's really pretty. See there? And I'm going to do some of the vines with Wasabi. I love playing with this stuff. Absolutely love it. I wish I just had more time to play. So just dip in there and spread it around. Like I said, don't worry about anything that gets on your stencil or on your table, whatever, because you can scrape it up, put it back in the jar, and reuse it. On the vines, I'm going to let them be a little bit thinner. And just hold your stencil pretty still so that it won't move because you don't want to smear anything. And I've missed a little spot right there, so I'm going to go back and put some in there. Okay. Now it is just a matter of lifting this up, and just lift it kind of as straight up as you possibly can. Now I'm going to set this card over here for just a second, and then I'm going to take my spatulas and I'm going to scrape this up. I'm going to put it right back in my jar. I'm going to pull off this with the back of my spatula. See there? And I'm going to put that right back in the jar. Nothing wrong with it. Now, as soon as you get through using your stencil, you do need to go and wash it right away to get this off. You don't want this to dry on there. It tends to be pretty hard to get off when it dries. So I'm going to go put this in a little bit of water to clean it up, and I'll be right back. And don't forget to clean your tools up too, or just put them in a little bit of soap and water until you get finished crafting, and then you can clean them all off. And my stencil came clean. If you have a little bit of staining, don't worry about it. Stencils are gonna do that from time to time. I don't worry about the staining. Most of mine are stained. They still work just as good. Okay, so there is our stenciling. Look how pretty. And it does have a dimension on it. Let's see if I can get it to where you can see that without putting my finger in it. There you go. So, isn't that pretty? Now we're going to let this dry. You can dry it with a heat tool, but I like to let it dry because it keeps a lot more of that dimension. Sometimes when you hit it with a heat tool, it will flatten it out just a little bit. So I'm just going to let that lay flat and dry, and you'll see that your paper does bulk up just a little bit. Don't worry about that. It'll normally go back flat once it dries. So while that's drying, we're going to do something else. These also come in your kits, in your February kits. And this is some chipboard, pretty thick chipboard. And I just am punching out the little pieces that they leave in there for us to help protect them. And now I'm going to show you that you can put some of the glitter paste over that as well. Let's find a pretty color. Oh, I think this is pretty. This one will work. This one is called Bubblegum. It's pretty. And I'm just going to wipe this off. Alright, so we'll mix it up just a little bit because sometimes the water does come to the top. And then we're just going to, now you could paint this first to make it, you know, the brown not show through, the chipboard not show through if you want to. I'm just going to put this on there without painting it. So there you go. Isn't that pretty? I like it. And you know, you could keep going and get all of these little pieces off the edges, all the little bits off the edges if you wanted to, but I think that just adds to it. I like that. Or you could just put it on your heart and leave these other little branches and things alone. You can also put this on just with your fingers so that you have a better control. Just put it in certain areas. You can do that as well. Okay. So I think that's pretty. There you go. That's just on plain chipboard. Now if you painted behind that with a color, you know, a pink color or whatever, that would make it really, really stand out. Alright, let's get this back in the jar. I'll show you what some of this gold looks like on just a black piece of paper. This is really pretty too. Now my gold is a little bit thicker than it needs to be. I need to add a little bit of water to it, but I've had this a long time, probably over a year, so it's going to dry out eventually if you don't use it up, but I can add a little water to that and I'm good. See, it's a little bit thicker than the other ones. Not quite as fluid, but just add you a little bit of water in there and you're good. Well, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Trying to keep that from falling off. I think that is gorgeous. And it's definitely not showing in the camera as pretty as it is. But it's really, really pretty. There we go. We got that a little bit more liquidy. Now, I do want to tell you, if you do put water in here to soften it up, you need to make sure that it is distilled or purified water. Don't put any water in here that has chlorine or anything like that in it, because it will make it kind of mold or mildew over time. So once you put that in there, just kind of sit it aside, put the top on it really good, and let it sit and soften back up. But you can also just spread it directly on your projects like that if you want to. Or you can take your finger and put just a little bit on your projects if you'd rather do that, just to get a little bit of that glitter. The carrier in this is completely clear, so when it dries, all that you're left with is that glitter. Okay, so there is our card base dry. As you can see, it has great dimension and none of the glitter comes off. So it's very, very pretty. And then I cut this out of the paper, and I'm going to put this down with some pop dot material. Just like that. Okay, and this piece is out of the ephemera that came with that same collection. And we're going to put that right there. And I did put it on a pop dot. And then again, some of the ephemera. And we're going to put that right there. And then I'm going to use my Wink of Stella, and this is in the clear. And I'm going to go over the flowers. Just to make them pop a little bit. Okay, and that is our card. I think that is super cute. But this is using your glitter paste from BoBunny. Just a little idea of how to use it. There's many, many other ways you can use that, but I think that it's really, really pretty on cards. You can use it on scrapbook pages, boxes, things that you alter or decorate. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on using the BoBunny glitter paste. We will have that linked below, and if you got a February kit, you've already got one of those in there. So we will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and leave us a comment below letting us know if you've used glitter paste before. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.